It's time for the exciting adventures of Sky Girl Reporter.
Right now I'm here with Heba Thorisdottir, so let's say hi. Hi!
Hi! I'm so honored to be interviewed by you.
My first question is, what is the difference between working with bands and actors?
That's an interesting question I've never been asked before. So, musicians, they really have their own looks. But actors is like you read the script, you talk to the director. It's, you're working with a storyline. So you're actually changing the actors from who they are. Whereas the musicians, you're keeping as who they are.
What's the difference between working with movies and TV shows?
Not a lot of difference, except I really like working on films because I have like the beginning, middle, and end of the story. So I know with the character that, kind of where they begin, where they're gonna end. So I can work with that. With TV, you don't always know where the storyline is going. So it's hard for me to just get a new script every week and, you're just kind of like don't have an ending. And, so you don't know really where, you're not building the character necessarily for an end, but you're just building them up week by week.
That seems difficult. Do you have a favorite type of makeup to do on people?
I think my strength is in kind of no makeup and or natural makeup, but I don't really have a favorite. I just love like breaking down a character and seeing where the person lives, kind of what the financial situation is, and kind of go from there, like what they would own, what they would have, kind of thing. And I can tell you one story if you want.
Yeah.
I did a movie called Bridesmaids, and I had broken down the story and who each of the girls were, and I made like little cosmetic bags with colors for each of them, like what they would be like. And I was like really proud. I was like, okay, here are your cosmetic bags, and this is what you would have, and this is kind of what I was thinking for your colors. And they were like, oh, thank you. And they all start going through the makeup bag, and then they're all like, oh, I love this, I love this. So it was like all over the place. So it doesn't always work out the way you intended for it to work.
That must be annoying.
It wasn't really annoying as much as it was kind of like, oh well, I have to start all over.
How did you get into making music videos?
When I was going to makeup school, my brother-in-law was starting to produce music videos, and he hired me to do craft service, which is like making sandwiches and coffee on set. And I'm from Iceland, so I didn't really know a lot of English either. So I was kind of learning English as well as, learning the film business and the film language. And so I just started meeting people doing that, I just tried to make really good sandwiches and really good coffee, so they would come back and talk to me, and then they started hiring me, and I got out of school.
Do you know who Bjork is?
I most definitely do. We're the same age, and I remember her when she was about your age, and she gave out her first album, and we used to see her like around Reykjavik and stuff, and we're not like friends or anything, but I actually gave the Sugar Cubes album to The Edge for his birthday one year, and the next tour they hired the Sugar Cubes to open for them, so that was pretty exciting. So I hung out with her a few times.
Who was the hardest person to do makeup on?
Like Crystal Waltz, he's allergic to everything, and I was kind of like, yeah, everybody says that. And then I put something on him and he got like hives. And so then I had to put cortisone cream on it, and so that kind of hard. But then there's also just, I haven't really worked with anyone who's really hard in makeup, because usually the actors are just excited about building characters and we're working together on it. So there's nobody really difficult that I've encountered.
That's good. How did you start working with Quentin Tarantino?
I met him through an actress named Julie Dreyfus, who is in a couple of his films. And then I was invited with Julie to visit on the set of Jackie Brown. And it was a night shoot. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, Friday night, and everybody was so happy and had so much fun. And I had just had two boys, so I wasn't really working. But I was like, I decided right there and then, I was like, oh my God, I could go back to work if it's like this. And I told him, I said, your sets are kind of like David Lynch set. They're like really fun. And I want to work on your next movie, and I don't care if I'm sweeping your floors. And then he called me like 8 years later and he said, I've been, starting up Kill Bill. I don't want you to sweep my floors, but I want you to head the makeup department. And, his whole thing was that he didn't really grow up with a big family. He was like an only child and a single mom, so he makes all the sets like his family. So he really wanted somebody he knew and felt like family to him. So that's why he picked me. I got really lucky.
That's really cool. So that was my last question. So I'd like to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know what? I'm like bondage into my bag here. So can we use a left? So nice to meet you.
You too.
I'll definitely follow you on social media.
Thank you.
Take care. Goodbye.